to show you how to perform custom calculations. So after you have calculated PK parameters, there might be some additional parameters you need to calculate, such as the accumulation ratio. So a day 7 AUC divided by a day 1 AUC. Or you may need to calculate, as in this case, a relative bioavailability. So you're going to have a fed AUC divided by a fasted AUC. Or perhaps you need to do some unit conversions. One of your results comes out in milliliters per hour and you want it in liters per hour. So you would do all of these with this custom calculation tool. So we're at the end of a PK analysis here, and then we just click this go to custom calculations and it'll go ahead and start loading it up. And you do this a lot like the data cleaning. We only have two options right now, a conversion calculation or a ratio calculation. So we'll start with the ratio calculation because this is a relative bioavailability. And so, we'll just type in and fed over fasted. And this is going to be F rel AUC inf linear. Oh, actually, that's a code that I want to use. I'll take it out of there and put it over here in the code, and I'll actually call this relative bioavailability fed fasted AUC infinity linear. So now our unique ID is the subject. It's almost always the subject or the animal. And then you need to provide a numerator and a denominator. Now you can always look at your PK results file to see if what you need is, understand what you need. So let's go look at what these are called. So this is the actual results. Now we want to use the AUC infinity linear. So we'll scroll down. There's the partial AUCs. There it is. So this is our code that we want. It's a capital AUC underscore INF underscore lin. So in our numerator, that's what we're going to type in. So AUC underscore INF, and we can now select it. And then we have some conditions because we need to make sure we get the fed as the numerator. So we'll add that in. And then we're going to do that same parameter. And then we're going to put the fasted in as the denominator. So fed over fasted. And so it's actually built that JSON file for you right here. You can go and edit it if you want, but I think we're happy with it. Now, one thing we need to make sure is we want to sort the output data. And so we want to sort that first by subject, and then I want to sort it by period. So it's got the first period, then the second period. And then the next thing I want to do is sort it by, let's see, the KEL group, so that the KEL group 0 goes first, and then the KEL group, whatever the number is for the best fit, goes second. And then the last thing I want to do is sort it by the parameter CD, or the parameter code. And so I think that's good enough. We could add treatment in here, but I think it'll be fine with the period to do it that way. So that's it. We can actually now go ahead and calculate those parameters. And if you need to add another calculation or conversion, you can do it here. Now we'll calculate this run, and it'll take that JSON, it'll submit it up with the instructions and say, hey, that analysis, PK analysis we just ran, we now want to calculate some additional parameters. And it's going to go ahead and queue that up and then get it started, and then it will run the calculation. So we'll wait for that to complete. All right, so it is completed and it said it succeeded. So let's go ahead and download those results and take a look at them. So it's downloading, it shows up there. I'll click it and then unzip the package and then show you the results. So if you've been watching these other videos, you know that first we started with data cleaning, then we did a PK analysis. So those results are here because it's a nested analysis, right? We started with the raw data and did data cleaning, and then we went into an analysis, and now we've done custom calculations. So custom calculations, like everything else, there's inputs and outputs. So here's your configuration for that. And the input file was the PK results. Now, what are the outputs? So the outputs is a single CSV file, which is always named PK results dash custom dash calcs. And so essentially it has the exact same values in there, except for it has added the parameters that we have calculated. And so if we scroll up here and look, it's going to, there it is, the relative bioavailability, whoops, is right there. So this is the param CD, or parameter code that we put in. There's the calculated value for this subject, and there's the actual explanation of the parameter, and then here is the calculation of full precision. And so it's got this relative bioavailability calculated for all the subjects, and it's included in this standardized format. So then you can use it in further analyses. And that's how you run a custom calculation in the new platform. Let me show you really quickly where this is interesting. So we can come to this food effect analysis here, and there is a relative bioavailability calculation that we just did. And so you can see that we started with this analysis, and we just did in this video, this analysis here. That's now a subset. And you can reload that analysis if you want. It reloads all the results up and the settings, and then you can either make some modifications or you can just move on to the next step, which would be the post-processing. And so I think that's it for the custom calculations.